Welcome, everybody, to the All the Leads Probate Mastermind. Today is June 9th, 2016, and this is Mastermind call number 78. One more time before we get started, if you have a question, a comment, success story, you want to share anything that's, any choke points you're finding in your probate campaign, please press star 6 and wait a moment, and then press 1 to enter the queue. We do have one person in the queue, but we'll kind of take care of some housekeeping. Tim, is there anything you want to share with the group before we get started?
Only thing I would point out is that it's the beginning of the summer, and we all sort of give ourselves excuses during the summer, and I remember making lots of excuses for, why business slowed down in the summer, and the one thing I can tell you is we're in the one segment of the real estate business that has no season, and this is a great time to be really rocking and rolling, developing the probate aspect of your business, and we're going to be doing everything we can to help you this summer make sure that does exactly what it's supposed to do. And while everybody else is giving themselves excuses for not doing well, we hope that our folks are out there printing money. So that's what I'm hoping for, and if you got questions, we're here to help you.
Okay. I don't really have much to share. We do have one person in the queue, so I'm going to go ahead and jump to them. I'm going to unmute you now. Phone number ending in 4550. The line is yours.
Yeah, hi. For someone who's new to probate, I was wondering if you could just sort of state what the difference is, or the couple of differences when you're taking a listing for a probate and just in the process of the probate compared to, preparing and going out and giving a listing, as far as, I guess, even paperwork or forms. If you could just sum it up, I know it's different for different areas, but what would you say is actually different for the probate listing?
So really, as far as paperwork goes, there's really no difference. Some people will actually list, estate of Jane Doe. I actually list in the executor's name, and then we connect that chain of title with the death certificate. The reason I do that is because if I put the executor's name in instead of estate of, I usually avoid all the BS offers that come from, beginning people who just bought the next hottest guru course that are just slinging offers on MLS. That's just a personal choice that I made to do in my market. I passed that by my attorney first and said, can I list this as the executor's property? And said, yeah, sure, we'll just connect it, with the title work. So that's the only real difference in the paperwork. The big difference between any other listing and a probate listing, I think, is the level of service that you can offer. Most sellers aren't nearly as overwhelmed as a probate seller, because if you understand their mindset, they are in a position where they've been appointed as the single most important person in somebody's life. So they've been handed this entire life to kind of unravel, while at the same time their whole life is still happening. So understand their mindset, and the big difference is just what we teach our agents is to offer a variety of services, offer to help in more than just I can fill out a listing agreement and market your house and find a buyer. So what we teach is approach it by understanding their situation and then finding ways that you can kind of layer in value, and that's what we mean when in our materials we talk about building a team around you. So you can help get homes cleaned out, get them repaired. You can do basically anything that would need to be done to get the property sold in that situation. You can take some of that off their shoulders, and that places a high value in your service. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it brings it right back to what you guys teach about preparing the team and all of that. But as far as, I guess different forms have probate listing forms and so on.
Now, I do know that, and I don't know the name of the actual form. In the state of California, it's a way more complicated process than anywhere else. So which state are you in?
California.
Okay. So I would encourage you to, talk to your broker or look in. I know that the CAR, the California Association of Realtors, does have probate-specific forms, and I think even a probate-specific contract. I've never done business in California, but I have heard people say that. So every market's, it has its own little nuances. But I would, get in your zip forms or wherever you guys keep your documents and just kind of look, see what contracts are there, and then maybe have a sit down with your broker and determine if there's anything that you need to do, legally differently than you would on a conventional listing. And guys, anyone else from California that's on the call, we've got 2 more people in the queue, but anybody who can weigh in, please, jump in and fill in the gaps. I'm obviously not in California, so only so helpful. But all right. Second question, phone number ending in 3389.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Bill Gilani. I just bought your service actually while I was in convention in D.C. And the question I had for you guys was that I just got my first list of customer clients. I'm trying to figure out how to upload them into my top producer's contact management system. That's what I use. And since there is multiple names there, how do I go about that? I was going to call them, but I just wanted to get some heads up from you guys too.
Okay. Bill, I can send you about a 50-minute video on how I do it in my top producer. But just real quickly, what we do, regardless of what the CRM is, I put the executor, the personal representative, goes in as the primary contact, the primary contact record.
Okay.
The deceased last known address goes in as the primary property, and then the personal representative's mailing address goes in as the other. I forget if it's other or secondary in top producer. And then anything that does, and then the phone numbers obviously put in as like mobile, home. You keep track of that, because the way we give you the phone numbers, the first phone number from left to right is the most accurate, the most likely to reach them, and oftentimes can be a cell phone. And then number 5 is still valid, but not as likely. So you'll have to come up with your own system of how you want to keep track of those. What I do is phone number 1 is mobile, phone number 2 is home, phone number 3 is office, 4 other, and 5 other. That's how I do it. So I always know which order to call them in. And then anything that doesn't really have a place, like the date of probate filing, date of death, attorney information, all that, I just simply push into the notes. And that's one of the great things about Top Producer versus other systems. You can import whatever information you want right into the notes field. And I will say this, Bill, you're new with us and might not have heard this. We are right now beta testing and just about to roll out a whole new website, which comes with a brand new back end, and we're going to actually provide a probate-specific CRM, so you won't have to worry about actually doing any kind of a lead import. We've built a kind of a light CRM that will help you. You can prospect, order mail, opt people out, rate them. You can do everything from just inside the system, and we'll actually deliver your leads monthly into that. So you might do this one time. And hopefully, going forward, you can just use that system. And what I recommend and what we're doing now is we'll use that system while they're leads. And when someone becomes an appointment or a serious prospect, then we'll put them in the top producer one at a time. And that saves us from, fully managing 2 systems.
That would be very good actually, because I'm a small office. I'm agent, about 35, 40 agents. And my purpose of this was to distribute leads to my agents. And if you have a system developed, that would be nice to actually assign the clients to the particular agents,
Yep. Bill, what was your last name?
Hello?
So, Bill, so I can send you the top producer video. What was your last name?
Oh, my last name Gilani, Gillani. Gillani.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. I was calling you Bill. Okay, I will send you that email, the training video that I have for my office. I'll send you that so you can do your top producer import. At least do it once, for this month. Hopefully by the next set of leads, we will have your, we'll be rolled over to the new system. Fair enough?
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question is from 3199. Floor is yours.
Yeah, this is Jim Gilbert. I'm down here in Pasco County, Florida. And
hey, Jim.
yeah, how you doing, Chad?
Doing well.
I guess just kind of follow up a little bit on what you were saying. I had this, what you were saying earlier when you first started, kind of talking about the relationships. Had a lady call me back. I'd left her a message, and she's about 50 miles from where her mother's house is that she's going to have to sell. And I explained everything to her. And she was a little bit cold, but she seemed like she was coming around a little bit, and she had mentioned that she wanted to get the inside of the house painted, and she didn't know any painters up here. And so I got her a number of a painter that, was reliable. And it just seemed like once I started trying to help her, she loosened up quite a bit. And I still don't have the listing, but I kind of feel like, that I will get it. So that building them relationships, I think, is really good.
Yeah, and provide value first. And that's the whole tone of everything we teach is, just take your service to that next level. And I encourage you to do it in all other areas of your business too, not just probate. Do as much as you possibly can, and you're going to differentiate yourself against other investors, other agents. That was really the golden key for me when I learned to offer options and not just talk about listing the house and do the kind of me. I'll stick a sign in the yard. I've got the best website the world's ever seen. That really changed. It made this the most rewarding and easy business I've ever had. So
I think if you forget about the commission and just work on building those relationships, that the commission checks will eventually come to you.
Yep. Hey, I think where we left off with you last week, Jim, was you were going to get off the Mastermind call and go make a follow-up call to a lady who you thought would be better off meeting with you than not. Wasn't that you?
That was me, and I did call her right back. She's still not ready. She's got, I guess, brothers and sisters that's all involved in it, but she's still, she gave me the same thing. She's still working on some things, and she did tell me she, still wants me to follow up with her, but she wants a little more time. So, that's about as far as I got with her.
Okay. And you feel like it's more about the personal property? Is that where
yeah, I think that's what it is, the personal property. And I had mentioned to you, that I had people that could help her with the estate sale, but she, I don't know. I'm gonna probably, I may call her tomorrow. I may call her again tomorrow. I may wait till the first week. I'm not sure yet right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, good job calling her. That's just keep in touch. I think you said she wanted you to wait a couple of months. I would keep in touch with her.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
She said
okay.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah. So we're going to stay on it.
Yeah. Find ways to stay front of mind.
Well, the other thing that you also keep in mind about all this, and this is a consistent theme, is that the people that join us on these calls week after week and have interesting and solid stories to tell us about their successes, they ain't them overnight. Occasionally we'll find somebody who says, I sent my letters out and within the first week I had somebody, get right on it and I've got a listing. But the average person is going to stay at this a little bit, invest the time and energy to get it done. And as you said when you began this is all about building a long-term relationship with people. you got to realize that, just like Chad said, sometimes you're going to catch them very early in that process, and they may not be ready yet. But as long as you continue to offer to provide value, just like you're doing, you got the perfect attitude to be successful with this.
All right. Well, Jim, thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Next question is from 3808.
Hi, this is Annette Kirshner from Flagstaff, Arizona. Recently signed up, working the leads and everything. I'm wondering, on the new website, will you be posting the role play that you have on your Facebook page? Are you going to have a link on your new website so you can go in and perfect? When do you think that will be ready?
That answer would come to me. And this is Tim, and unfortunately the answer to that is it'll be ready as soon as we roll it out, and I can't really give you a firm date. We've had 3 or 4 rounds back and forth among all the partners of reviewing what's there, and like any group of 4 people, we always change our mind 17 times before we get out the door, but we're getting there, and we could release it tomorrow. All the important pieces are done. I just want to get it right and make sure it's there, but certainly our plan is before the end of this month it'll be done and out.
Okay, perfect. And I just wanted to say I received a call back recently from someone that received my letter, and I put her in. She said the reason she called me back was she got the letter. She was really impressed that I had put a team together, and that I put her in touch with an attorney that does probate in our county, and so she's meeting with him on the 15th of this month, and we're getting it rolling. So that first letter that goes out is an awesome letter, and letting people know that you have a team formulated really is a big help for sure.
Awesome. So, Annette, do you know that attorney? Does he know that you referred him? He or she?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yep. I made sure. He's in my building where our office is, and I met with him, talked to him about it. I sent him the referral or the real attorney letter, and then also just followed up with him after I know she had called him and just said, hey, my client called you, and he's like, yeah, thank you so much. And so I know we'll be working together for the future.
That's awesome. Good for you. I mean, and a lot of recently we've talked a lot about marketing to attorneys, and it's kind of the same thing. Like what Annette did was just, provide value first. She started her attorney relationship with a direct referral to him. So, and I mean, what do you think the chances are that he'll send you business in the future in that?
I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Sure. Yep.
So, all right, guys. Well, we have cleared the queue for now. Anybody who has anything to add? I know there's people from California on the call that can answer the question about the California contracts. If anybody wants to chime in, any other stories, any objections you're hearing, press *6, wait a moment, and then 1. Otherwise, Tim is going to recite poetry.
Actually, I was going to share my story from this morning, but probably that's better left unsaid.
Yeah. Let's withhold that one.
Hey, if there's not anybody out there, all I think that you got to deal with is that, it's a great time of the year, and kindly remember that we're here to help. And Chad is a tremendous resource, as is Jim, and all of us will do anything we can to make sure we help you get anything done you need to get done. We're always also open to your suggestions and ideas about how we can improve the things that we do. And just to let you know, one of the things that we are doing is taking a long, hard look at the entire lead gathering process and doing a lot of stuff and working real hard right now to make sure that our folks who gather the data for us are getting it in the most timely manner possible, because we know that getting it to you quickly is critical. We want you to be the first in the game, and early bird gets the worm, so we know we got to work hard all the time to do that. And we hear when people are happy about that, and we also hear when they're not the first person in line, and we're working hard to keep you there. So know that that's happening as well.
All right, we got another question from number ending in 7701.
Yeah, hi, this is Dave Friedman from the LA area. And I just wanted to touch base. I just started the campaign, and you'll, I just have to give this one little level of humor. I did the voice cast that you guys recommended, I think out of Canada. And so I'm working with my assistant, and it just didn't hit me that he sent out about 50, 75 calls. So I got this person who calls and goes, "Yeah, you called me." I says, "I don't know. Who are you?" He says, "Well, who are you?"
Awkward.
So a lesson for the wise. And then I figured it out because I did that very general, folksy kind of leaving a message like I'm a friend. So they didn't know if I was a friend of theirs or someone from the homeowners association about the property, which is really what I wanted, so that was great. It's just be aware when you do a voice cast, these people are going to be starting to call. So that's kind of like a cute little story. One thing, and I'll call you back when I get my first deal. That's going to be a definite. We started doing the letters, once a month, and I believe you guys have it suggested for a 3-month period. And then obviously a call that follows about a week after that letter goes out, and I'm also sending out some trifolds for that. What about after 3 months? Because I know that some representatives are daughters and sons, and they're distraught, and it can take 6 to 12 months for them to get their act together to want to sell the property. So what's the interval after 3 months?
Well, the more the better. So I mean, we know like in real estate and sales in general, 80% of sales happen between touch 5 and 7. So we try to give you the minimum effective dose that it takes to be successful, and that's 3 letters and 3 phone calls. Anything you can do to supplement that is going to increase your chances of success. So if you want to send additional mailers, I know people who we actually have subscribers who have been doing probate for years, just going to the courthouse on their own and kind of developing a system over 2-3 decades. And I know people who mail 1 letter per month for 12 months. We don't really recommend that for everybody because most people really don't have the budget for that. You're basically look at your monthly mail cost, multiply that times 12. That'll be your monthly marketing at the end of the year, because each month you're stacking on a different cost. So to just kind of the minimum effective program we found is market over a 3-month period with 3 letters and 3 phone calls. A really cheap way to supplement that is just do a monthly follow-up call. If you would want to just call them monthly. One of the really cool things about the new backend, the new CRM that we'll be providing when the website rolls over that we talked about earlier, is we actually have a last call date. So when you pull up your leads from any given month, you'll see the date that you last called them. So you can manage them all in one place. You don't have to manage spreadsheets or anything like that. So it'll be really simple for you to go back and say, okay, I'm going to go back 6 months and call everybody who I haven't talked to since, for X amount of days. So if you were to do anything, and on the same budget, you could just make additional phone calls, or, your ringless voicemail in LA is probably $60 around to call everybody.
Gotcha. And I'm doing Ventura County, but I still get the idea. It basically is it's a balance of economics and still touching base. So the phone call follow-ups should continue for several more months. Is what you're saying, and that makes sense.
The other thing that you could conceivably do is that if you've gone through the list and you've at least had conversations with people during that 90-day period where you're doing that first round of mailings and you're following up with the phone calls, doing what you need to go do, you could certainly create a queue of people that you simply make, and you can upload any kind of custom list you want to the mailing service, the Mailbox Motivator, and we'll put any kind of letter that you want out for that. So what you could simply do is create a small tickler follow-up letter that says, I spoke with you a few months ago, and I know right then you weren't possibly ready to move forward wanted to let you know I'm still vitally interested in staying in touch with you. And here's a new tidbit you might be interested in regard to current property values, what's going on in our market, the standard things that you do, but keeping your face in front of them. And some people respond well to phone calls. Some people respond well to letters. The value of doing the one I'm talking about is that you do it to a much smaller and less expensive universe, and be really interested to help you, work on that. Put a simple letter together that goes out maybe, 5-6 months after you've done it 90 days, maybe go out with one more letter, maybe, 6 months out if you still haven't gotten anything done and nothing's happened on that property. So that's something to consider as well. And we'll be happy to work with you to put something like that together if you're interested in doing it. But you can scrub that list and get it down to a much smaller number so you're not throwing a lot of money at it and you're still accomplishing what you want to do.
And you're saying scrubbing the list down by going after only
by having
yeah, you've had 90 days and you've talked to a bunch of those people and you cited, someone who might be a brother and sister and they're taking a while to get it done and other things are happening, or you may have a circumstance where their surviving spouse is still in the home and isn't planning to move, for example, till the end of the summer. Granny's going to stay in the house till the end of the summer and have one more summer in the house, and then we're going to do something. Well, those are things that you just kind of file away, and you put that maybe in your 6-month file. And at that time frame, you've got a scrubbed list that you just keep, and you upload it to the system, and then automatically those letters go out as well. And it's much less expensive because you've created that list.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. And Dave, I want to go back.
The input.
Just give you some pointers on using ringless voicemail. When I set up my very first campaign with them, they said, don't put a caller ID number in there. I'm like, well, that's crazy. Like, I want people to call back, right? So I didn't listen to them, and I called 200 people, and I got like 24 phone calls in 5 minutes. The vast majority of those are people saying, I just missed a call from this number. Who is this? They hadn't listened to the voicemail. Something to test and consider is not putting a caller ID number in there. So if they want to call you back, they have to listen to the message and then call back. That obviously decreased my callback rate, but it increased the lead quality. I would get 2 calls from come list me's versus 20 calls with 2 come list me's and 18 confused people. The other thing, the message, and I have tested dozens and dozens of messages. The message that worked the best for me to kind of get the point across that it wasn't a personal phone call, but still leave enough curiosity there to get a call back was, hey, this is Chad. I sent you a letter last week. Just wanted to make sure you got that and you understood why I sent it. Give me a call when you get a chance, 540-314. And that was the message that performed best for me. It was probably a 10 or 12-second message. It kind of said, hey, I'm calling you for a direct reason. It's going to make them go look for that letter if they haven't read it. Read that, and then if they read that letter, they understand what I do. So when the phone rings, it's usually a come list me. Like they're usually ready for that conversation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'll make the adjustments, and I'll listen to the voice message because it's been a little while since I recorded it. Because I may have formatted it similar to yours, but like you said, if it goes to a cell phone, they may not listen to it if there's a phone number. So I'll make those couple adjustments.
All right. Well, thanks for your questions and comments, Dave. Guys, we're almost at our time limit. Last chance. If anybody has any questions or comments, press *6. Wait a moment, then press 1. All right. Well, we are at 1:30, past 1:30, so I'm going to do my best to use Jim's outro. Take one thing that you learned here today, put it into practice, and come back next week to share your success stories. And Dave, I'm going to hold you to that. Go get your first listing, and we want to hear the story when you're successful. But thanks so much, everybody. I will say one thing that we missed. Any questions you have that you didn't want to chime in and ask today, anything that you want to handle privately, you can always email support@alltheleads.com, and we will get back to you as quickly as we can. But thanks for everybody who participated, and have a great day, guys.